And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to helping you win in any marketplace. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, and enlighten. But most importantly, we want to engage with you so we can help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number in your phone because at some point you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. Now you can call or text that Consumer Advocate hotline. You can also check out our website, consumerqb.com. At consumerqb.com, you're going to see links to all of our expert contributors. All their contact information is right there, phone numbers and emails and website information. And we would love for you to reach out to them, let them know that the real estate quarterback sent you, and take them up on those special offers and incentives. It's non-commission based advice around here. That's our goal with the Consumer Quarterback Show. As you know, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty here in Tampa Bay, the number one real estate company on the planet, and with the number one team in Clearwater. So we are here helping you win in any marketplace. Now, this is Intelligent Talk Radio, and I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me today. Mr. Scott Kepler, our mortgage expert contributor, making his debut to the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's the branch manager, Mortgage Approval Group. Welcome in.
Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to be here. I've been in the mortgage business for 18 years, and we specialize in helping families finance their dreams and make a good financial decision when they're looking at either purchasing or refinancing their properties. And we look at, their short-term goals and their long-term goals and help them figure out which loan programs are going to work out best for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Being able to go to your database there and looking at all the different types of programs you have some unique stuff we'll dive into deeper where you can shop different programs and help them get the best possible terms and rates and everything involved with that. And we'll talk about as well our wholesale side of the business. We used to work together in the wholesale side coming up as well. Chris Hatfield as well, back in studio. Tampa Screens and Aluminum, welcome in.
Thank you for having me back, Brandon. It's
Yes,
fun
sir.
to be back. It's been a couple months that I took off, but now, it got slammed there for a little bit. Had to wait for a little bit of lull to slow down, but we're definitely cranking out some quality patio enclosures at Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Personally been doing it now in my 20th year. So
Nice. Awesome, man. You look too young to be in 20 years and,
At 35, I sadly enough showed up on the job site with my dad one time and never turned around.
Nice. Awesome. Well, you've had you guys here, Fred Mute, the Screen Man, or the AKA the Tin Man.
Tin Man, they call me the Screen Man.
Okay, the Screen Man right here. Chris Hatfield in the house. So Tampa Screens and Aluminum, longtime friend of the program and expert contributor in the space of real estate. And, of course, those beautiful in-between spaces. It's not the AC. It's not the outside, but it is screened lanais and a lot of times really beautiful additions to your real estate properties to make you appreciate and worth more value on the real estate side. All right, got a couple of hot listings we'll let you know about here in our weekly features. We got 207 Coronado Drive over on Clearwater Beach. Now, this is a beautiful property, $3.5 million. It's a great opportunity. You are right across the street from the Wyndham Grand, which is one of the most, $100 million plus building project that was put there. Right across the street is the beach, of course, Pier 60. So this is a development opportunity on Clearwater Beach. I'm looking for my businessmen, my entrepreneurs, men and women, I should say, and my entrepreneurs, my developers. This is a great opportunity on Clearwater Beach, listed at $3.5 million. But of course, the owners are open to offers. Also have a gas station for sale in St. Petersburg. This one's 7424 4th Street North over in St. Pete. Two commercial properties to kick off the show here. 7424 4th Street North. This is a great opportunity. Again, a corner lot gas station with 3 service bays. So you've got that mechanical side of it, the repair shop, and it also has a mini mart as well. So beautiful property starting off the show here on beautiful Tampa Bay and some hot real estate listings. Check out all of our listings at And this segment is brought to you by the Lucky Dill. It's our new restaurant partner. The official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is the Lucky Dill restaurant. They've got a deli. They've got an NYC bar, the Brooklyn Bakery, catering, banquets, and home of the sandwich that ate Brooklyn. This is a great restaurant right on Boy Scout Boulevard in Tampa, across from International Mall. They've got a location in Palm Harbor off of US 19. The official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is the Lucky Dill. Excellent food. And let them know that Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Go in there and say hello to the management team and tell them that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, let's jump right into it. We've got Scott Kepler. Now, Scott is a wealth of knowledge in the areas of mortgage and finance, and 18 years in the business. We started off working for a company called Argent Mortgage back in the day, and that's the wholesale side of what most people are familiar with the retail side, which back then was AmeriQuest. So, we've got a long history, and the wholesale side is different. You learn a lot from that side of the business too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a whole different beast than dealing directly with the consumers, and dealing with brokers. But like you said, it was a good learning opportunity for sure. To be able to see the different sides of the business, I think has really given me some insight to be able to help the consumers that I work with now.
That's right.
Down the road from the things I've learned from being on the wholesale side as well. So I've got different facets of the industry, that is combined to make up my experience. I think that really helps with my expertise, not to pat myself on the back. But.
Well, it does, yeah. And that's what I talk about too when I'm in real estate listing presentations. It's like, hey, I've seen this whole real estate process from both the retail mortgage side, the wholesale lending side, and it really does bring a lot of value to the table. So that's going to really help people. So your local lender, support your local economy. That's one thing we talk about here on the Consumer Quarterback Show is, supporting the local economy, local businesses, local charities. And Scott Kepler is in studio here today. So give us a little background on, your business and how you're helping people.
Sure. Well, we're actually a mortgage broker versus a lender. So it gives me access to about 50 different lending outlets through different investors and big banks and private investors and, kind of a in between. So I guess you could say we're a one size fits all, or a one-stop shop, I guess probably a better way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me the opportunity to, talk to a lot of different consumers depending on what they're interested in doing, whether they've got, perfect credit and, big down payment, or not so perfect credit, or a small down payment, or they're an investor, or they're looking to, do a renovation or fix and flip. I've got an outlet for just about everything I come across.
That's awesome. So fix and flips, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's nice to not be, boxed into a small group of consumers that I can help.
Right.
Being able to expand that, really helps with the home buyers and the homeowners, and of course the real estate agents love it as well, because they know that they can refer their clients to me. I'm going to take care of them, and basically if there's not a loan program that I have available, they're probably not going to get financing.
Right.
It's it makes my life a lot better because it's a lot less stress, knowing that I can find an outlet for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. As being a broker, I think that's one of the key advantages that you talk about as well, is that you're able to take that individual's person or family's income, their credit scores, the property type that they're looking for, and then you shop that amongst all these different lenders that are basically competing to give you the best possible pricing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the big advantage, is that, from a broker side, I don't charge any lender fees. And the lenders that I'm set up with, the majority of them have already negotiated with me to not charge my clients lender fees. So if you're looking for say a first-time home buyer who's, got the minimum down payment, that can save them anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 out of pocket at closing.
Right.
And that's huge when you look at the overall cost of getting into a house. And then on top of that, I'm able to negotiate rates that are as good as any of the banks in town, or better than a lot of the online lenders that you find that are doing the big Super Bowl commercials and such.
Right, exactly. Yeah, a lot of those companies as well. They kind of give you those bait and switch type strategies, and they say, "Oh, well, that's for such a low down payment or a high down payment, low loan to value,"
Right.
and it's kind of a misleading thing. And some of these other lenders jumping around saying how they don't charge any fees at all, and it's like, man, you're doing these deals for free. How could you do that?
Right.
So it's a lot of these misleading tactics out there, but. We're talking with Scott Kepler here. He's the branch manager of Mortgage Approval Group and here in Tampa Bay. And I've known Scott for many, many years. Now, when we talk about the market in general, one of the key segments of that market right now that I really want to help, I feel a strong moral obligation to give back, is these renters out there. Renters are paying about 30 to 40% in some cases more than they could actually qualify for a mortgage for. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a big segment of our clientele is renters that are purchasing home, whether they're first time home buyers or maybe there's somebody who owned a house, before the, big crash. And now they're starting to get back into wanting to buy a house again. And there's some great loan programs out there to help those folks. And if you look at the long-term investment of purchasing real estate, and you do a comparison of that versus the amount of money that you're paying for rent, it's amazing, like how much of a difference it is.
It really is. Rob, do we have that available? I can't remember if we were able to get that up or not. But if you're watching our TV show on WeBeam TV, we have our streaming television show version. Yes, we've got a rent versus own analysis, and maybe you're checking us out on YouTube or Facebook, one of our repurposed shows here. But talk about this rent versus own here,
Sure.
Scott.
If you scroll down a little bit, it'll give you a summary here of what's a breakdown.
Yep. So it shows here with 3% down with a seller credit, which is seller concessions. You've got a 3.5% down option, FHA with seller credit. So you've got different options here
Right.
On a rent versus own. But the bottom line is, if you're renting out there, you're throwing a lot of money away.
Right. I mean, this is based on a $1,400 a month rent, which is about the average for the Tampa Bay area for a 2-bedroom apartment. And I might note too is that the average size of that apartment is under 900 square feet.
Wow.
And if you think about it, that's not very much room.
Yeah.
But for the same payment, you can purchase a $200,000 house. And the big factor is when you look down the road, 5 years and they've spent $80,000 on rent.
Yeah.
Versus that going into an investment of a piece of real estate. And on top of that, you've got the appreciation rate of the house going up in value.
That's right.
And the balance of the mortgage going down. And that's, ultimately how you can build wealth.
Good point. Absolutely. I want to elaborate that later in the show as well when we come back, because that's a great point. I love what you said, thinking long term down the road. There's studies that talk about beginning with the end in mind, and the longer term vision that you have, the more success you're going to have. So stay with us right here. We got Scott Kepler in the house coming up as well. Chris Hatfield, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, and we have our feel good story of the day. Good Samaritan pays for hotel for 70 homeless people during freezing temperatures. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Ward Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, and your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, real estate agent at Keller Williams Realty, the real estate quarterback. I've got a hot property we're having an open house over here at 206 Mariner this Saturday, 12 to 2. We're having an open house over at 206 Mariner. It's a ground floor, it's furnished unit, and it's just a beautiful property over in Mariner Drive, 206 Tarpon Springs, and it's a great opportunity for someone that wants to live close to the water. I mean, you're right on the end there. You've got Mariner Village. There's pools on site. Just a beautiful property here in Tampa Bay. And I've got a motivated owner here. He's a seller that's motivated. We just reduced 103 South Havana Avenue down to $482,000. It's got to be one of the best price properties in the zip code of 33609 in this Plant High School district. This is a gorgeous property, 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, over 2,450 square feet living. $482,000 just reduced, and the owner is motivated. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com. This is a great rental opportunity, Airbnb opportunity. PlatinumMVPRealty.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. And this segment is brought to you by the Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. The Bilmar Beach Resort over on Treasure Island. Beautiful hotel. They've got 2 pools on site, gorgeous beaches. Whether you're planning a vacation, a local staycation, a business trip, or a wedding, check out the Bilmar Beach Resort on Gulf Boulevard. Let them know that the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. The Bilmar Beach Resort also has Sloppy Joe's restaurant on site. So you've got some really awesome drinks and specials over at the bar. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, back here in studio, we got Scott Kepler. He's the branch manager, Mortgage Approval Group. We got Chris Hatfield as well. Tampa Screens and Aluminum here in studio. So I'm going to go to Chris now. So Chris, we had Fred Muth in studio last week, and he was, just talking about the economy. You guys are staying busy as ever. Really, really good stuff. Good times in Tampa Bay, right?
And it's that time of the year. I mean, it's when everybody wants to go outside. It's really nice to open up the windows and let everything flow through. Mosquitoes are down. It's not raining a whole bunch. We're getting a little bit of rain here, there, and everywhere, but this is, that pleasant time.
Yeah.
And it's also that time that we have a lot of our snowbirds. As soon as that first ice storm hits up north, they say, to heck with it.
And that was a big one last week, I guess.
Oh, yeah. And have you seen the amount of traffic coming into Tampa Airport? I mean, everybody was saying, get me somewhere sunny.
Yeah.
Get me somewhere sunny in 75.
That's right.
And that's the thing is we build the patio enclosures that can make it to where you can open up the front door, open up the back door, and let all the air breeze in.
Yeah.
And not have to burn up your air conditioner, not have to do anything else. And it's just that nice time of the year as well, where people want to go outside. They want to start thinking about their gardens and things like that. And
That's right.
while you're out there, you know, if you have no covering whatsoever, you at least need some form of an awning covering to start off with.
Yeah. And you mentioned spring baseball right around the corner.
Spring baseball right around the corner. That's my favorite time of the year. I definitely diehard baseball fan, but it's another one of those times where a lot of people are fluctuating and coming to the area. People will be coming to Florida to see their favorite teams. You
doubt.
can go and see a Yankees game, 2 tickets with hot dogs and beers and everything for less than a ticket would cost you to park at Yankee Stadium up in New York.
Right,
That's why
right.
people love to come down here for spring training. But in that same time, they're coming down because it's a beautiful weather area.
Yep.
And we're all about the company that can give them that beautiful weather area that they can enjoy outside of the house.
That's right. So let's talk about those beautiful in-between spaces that you guys develop. We've seen some photography on the screen here on the TV show side of our show, different types of floor outs. People are getting creative with the floor plans.
That's the thing. I mean, it used to always be when I first started in the industry, it was just straight box pool enclosures. You know, they were flat top roof, and we could only build it square. You know, that's about all we were ever doing was building them square. And as more architectural demands have started to pick up on the back of the houses, we're starting to have to make things that adapt to that.
Nice.
And so for some people that involves, you know, a little bit of, you know, moving around with things. Sometimes we'll have to change a design or actually sometimes change a roof design. But we look at the host. That's the first structure, how it's attaching to the house.
Right.
And then we figure out what you're going to use it for.
Right.
You know, I don't want to put a giant 3,000 square foot enclosure on the back of somebody's house if they're never going to go back out there and use it.
Right.
And a lot of people are gravitating away from pools. Not to say that pools are, you know, that's a good thing to have in Florida. It's a definite thing that can up your investment. It's something that, you know, makes your house marketable. But a lot of people are starting to say to me, I want to enjoy that outside area, and I don't want a pool enclosure. I don't want to ever have a pool. You know, I don't have kids, or my kids have grown to the age that they don't use the pool anymore. So how can we do something for that? And that's where we get into more of our designer pergolas and outdoor shading structures.
Oh, nice. I like that.
So we partnered with a company based out of Miami that they provide these Renaissance patio enclosures, and we'll have links online and everything like that. But this gives you something.
Hold that up to the camera again.
He's got the link online as well.
Nice. Yeah. So that's covered. The roof's covered, but it's got that beautiful interior design
that
look.
Rafter look, that exposed rafter. I can close them up. I can bunch them up. I can do a lot of different things. We can do a trellis on top of there. So if you're just wanting a shade structure, something that won't be entirely watertight, a trellis does work good. Especially if you have an area that right now is a major natural light source, but you want to calm it down a little bit. When the house was built and was proposed to you, you went and saw the model home, that window made sense. Now, when you wake up in the morning, the sun's beating down and coming in at that angle, doesn't make sense for the way the sun works. So you can do a little bit of shading structure on the outside of the house, both on the back and on the front. You see a lot of craftsman houses down in South Tampa and old historic Northeast where they do that eyebrow pergola out the front of the house to give a little bit more aesthetic, to give something that looks a little bit cleaner. And that's something we're able to do now.
I like that. Yeah, there's a lot of options. You know, think about it as well with, you know, let's say you have a lake house, putting something out close to the boat dock. Maybe it's on the land, but you're close to the boat dock. What
you
would
can
that
go out there and enjoy that? You could do a small, you know, something as small as a 10 by 10. You can go as grandiose as a 20 by 20. There's a lot of different options for that. But if you think about most of the time when you're out on those lake houses, you see those docks and they're decrepit. They're falling apart. They're rotting into the water. We don't have the same type of wood that they had back then. So when they make these things out of wood, that's why people come to me, is they want something that's going to last a little bit longer. With an arbor, with a trellis, with something like that, you can let vines and bougainvillea, if that's what you like, you can let it grow up there without it molding to the wood and becoming part of it and rotting it away.
Because we're talking about Tampa screens and aluminum.
Tampa screens and aluminum.
That's
aluminum is everything. We don't do anything with wood. We only do it with aluminum.
Why is aluminum a superior product?
Well, it's mainly because of the fact that you're not going to have your rot. You know, where everything touches the ground. And the fasteners we get out now are way better than what we had at the time of the 80s and the 90s when I came up in the industry. We have a 10,000 hour saltwater immersion tested fastener that's going to provide you a lot more durability for a lot of our newer pools. But if you do have a pool that you've gone to a salt chlorinator, then I would suggest that you would want to go to a 304 stainless fastener. The 304 stainless fasteners that we have out now are the exact same material that a boat prop is made out of.
Wow.
Boat props sit down in the water all the time, and they don't have a problem with it.
That's right.
So that's something that we can do as a good, better, best. But the aluminum aspect of it, the way aluminum is actually coated, all of the aluminum we buy is powder coated aluminum. We would never buy a painted aluminum. So they actually draw polarity to it and they attract particulates to the aluminum.
Wow.
So you don't have to worry about flaking and it powdering off and things like that. That's the best way to do an outdoor shading structure.
I like
is
that.
to use powder coated aluminum.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love that idea. Might have to drop something like that by our boat.
And we've got all kinds of colors now. It doesn't just have to. Back in the 80s, it was silver. That's everything. Silver,
Yeah.
silver. Then they came out with bronze, late 80s and in early 90s, but it was 4 different colors of bronze and they faded 4 different ways.
Okay.
When we buy our extrusions, we buy them all as lump package. We buy them all for that job at the same time. So when they do come in, we don't have to worry about dissimilar metals from different plants and then baking and curing at different times.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Lots of options. Chris Hatfield, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, can help you with designing and putting together your structure, and a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that industry, of course. And more from Chris coming up. We also have Scott Kepler in the house, Mortgage Approval Group. We're going to talk more about this building wealth idea. I want to talk about building wealth and the ways that real estate can help you do that over the long term. And we also have our feel-good story of the day. Good Samaritan pays for hotel for homeless 70 homeless people during freezing temperatures. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterbacks Show. Check us out online. Brandon Rhymes, at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Twitter and Instagram. Consumer Quarterbacks Show page on Facebook. We would love to connect with you. And we'll see you right after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by Platinum MVP Realty at Keller Williams. We're excited about our move to Keller Williams. We are growing. We're bringing on new agents, growing our team. My wife's a licensed agent now, so we've got a great team over there to help you buying, selling, or investing. We would love to help you. Of course, if you're renting, we're going to talk more about that coming up with Scott Kepler here from Mortgage Approval Group. He's our expert contributor in the mortgage space, talking about wealth, talking about ways you can build wealth here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Now, this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving, and they strive to be the very, very best Tampa Bay moving companies by exceeding your expectations. And they are among the best reviewed Tampa movers, including Google, where they hold a 4.6 rating, the highest in the Tampa Bay area. They have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau, A rating on Angie's List, and a 4.5 on Yelp. And they have won the Super Service Award multiple years. Check out Brothers Easy Moving. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. And give Gary a call. He's the owner of the company. Tell him the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. And take him up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, a couple of hot listings here. Compliments of Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 1370 Gulf Boulevard, unit number 401. It's Clearwater Beach, Bella Rosa condo, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2,200 square feet on the beach. This is the Bella Rosa Sand Key, and it's a gorgeous property. Tennis on site. You got pool, spa. Just a great place to be right on Clearwater Beach. Just a hot real estate listing. Compliments of Platinum MVP Realty.com. We've got a local celebrities property listed here at 4613 South Matanzas Avenue in Tampa. This is Ian Beckles, former Buccaneer football player, radio show host here in the Tampa Bay market. 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath, got a half bath as well, and 3,300 square feet heated. Just a gorgeous property, fenced in backyard, spacious floor plan, and just a quick walk over to Bayshore Boulevard to enjoy all that South Tampa has to offer. All right, let's jump right into it. So, Scott, building wealth through real estate, man, I think it's very well known that real estate has created more millionaires than any other business. And some would argue the stock market. And, with the stock market, you've got these false inflated earnings. You've got the Enrons out there, all those types of scams that you see. And I think even more and more manipulation with the advent of technology and cryptocurrencies, things of that nature. But real estate, it's blocks and mortar, it's land. They're not making any more Mother Earth, right, especially waterfront, nice properties. So let's talk about wealth building and how real estate has played into that.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, with real estate, you've got an appreciation of the value of the home. So in the Tampa market, we've seen in some areas double digits over the last few years,
right? Which
is crazy when you think about it, because a lot of people, when you talk about stock portfolios or their retirement accounts, and they're not most of them aren't getting double digits, not on a consistent basis, and you can't count on that with real estate on a consistent basis. So when I put my presentations together and I'm showing folks, here's what you can anticipate, I go super conservative with like a 3% appreciation rate. Mm-hmm. So even at a conservative, rate of 3%, that means if you're buying a $200,000 house, next year it's going to be worth $206,000.
Yep.
And at the same time, you're making that payment every month, and that balance is going down. So the difference between, what you owe and what the house is valued at is how much equity you have.
That's right.
And over time, that continues to build. And of course, once you get over that big hump of where you're paying a majority of the interest, or if you're paying a little bit extra every month, that really increases that equity amount and that dollar amount. And of course, that brings up your net worth.
That's right. Equity equals wealth. In other words, the more that you pay down, the more that property appreciates. And you can always add a screen room, Tampa screens in aluminum. Absolutely. You can do a pool at some point. I mean, you can add on additions. You can put in nice hardwood flooring if you bought it with, older carpet. I mean, so all those dollars that you're putting into the real estate itself is going to not only appreciate, but it's going to help you, compound that over the years through, the compounding side of real estate. Now, when you think about it as well, let's go back to the renter example. I'd love to bring that back up on the screen. So we've got got, if you're watching our TV show again on WeBeam TV or YouTube, maybe you're catching our repurposed content we stream, of course, on all the major sites. We've got a rent versus own analysis here up on the screen, and I'll let you take what you want to talk about here, Scott, and then I want to point something out myself.
Sure. Yeah. If you look at the charts on the right hand side, it kind of gives you a breakdown of how much the monthly rent is versus how much you're gaining from real estate, from owning the home. So in this example, you got a $1,400 a month rent. You got $30 a month for the renter's insurance.
Right.
And so you compare that with a $200,000 purchase with 3% down, and you're at $1,387 with your taxes and your insurance and everything, rolled in. And if you look at a 15-year outlook, it's halfway through your 30-year loan. If you had your $10,000 in the bank instead of, putting it towards the purchase at a 2%, increase on your savings account, you're going to have about $13,500 roughly, versus having a net worth of $183,000 because the house has gone up in value as the balance has gone down. That's a huge difference. And, and I customized this particular, report based on what my clients' goals are. So, if they tell me, hey, we're looking at staying in the house for 6 years or 7 years, or, our kids are going to college and the last one will be gone in 10 years. And after that, we want to be able to sell the house, or they want to rent the house down the road. I try to customize it to make sense for them, because the 15-year outlook might not be the same, down the road as far as their long-term goals. They may not plan on being in this house for 15 years. So
right.
I try to customize it, but, for the sake of talking about building wealth, I think that gives you a great example. And what some folks will do, especially, they'll buy a house and they're planning on moving up to the next house, is they'll convert that house to a rental property and let a renter pay that mortgage for them. And that just continues to build more and more wealth.
Bingo. That's it right there. That's the way that you really build that long-term wealth is, because think about it. You anytime you buy or sell real estate, you're paying doc stamps on the mortgage, you're paying realtor fees, you're paying title insurance fees. You have costs every time. So if you just plug a tenant in and then you sit back and collect the rents, pay down the mortgage over the years, there's a lot of wealth being built that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. In some cases, you may not end up with a huge cash flow up front.
Right.
But if you're letting that tenant pay your mortgage for you every month, and you can accelerate it a little bit, you can have that house paid off in a matter of no time, or sit back and let them just pay it. And even if it takes 30 years for it to get paid off because you didn't pay any extra, you're still coming out way ahead because the property is appreciating, the balance is going down, and it's not costing you a dime.
That's right. Yeah, you could even, let's say you even set it up where you're, hey, I'm losing $100 a month, but I've got someone in there looking after my property. It's not getting vandalized, the property. And then let's just use that 3% number on a 200,000 every year at 3%. That's $6,000 appreciation. So even if you lost $100 a month, you're still better. You're still at $4,800 net profit, for the year from it.
Exactly.
So you could even lose money on a monthly basis, cash flow wise. And sometimes if you buy wrong, that's where you get. And then if you buy in a condo association and the HOA fees are really heavy, sometimes those fees can really eat into your profit.
Absolutely.
With condos.
And that's something that when I sit down and I talk with somebody and ask them, about their monthly budget and where they want to be, and they tell me, oh, I want to buy a condo, but my monthly budget's, $1,500 a month. Well, $1,500 a month will buy you a $220,000 house.
Right.
But $1,500 a month, depending on the HOA with the condo, maybe, $150,000, $170,000 condo.
Yeah.
Or less in some cases, because you got to remember is that, when you finance something over 30 years, $50 is equal per month is equal to about 10 grand in financing. Roughly,
yeah, absolutely.
So, when you factor in a HOA, but those are all part of what I do when I consult with somebody about what their goals are and what their reasoning is for wanting to have a condo, some people traveling or whatever the case, and that maintenance-free lifestyles for them.
Yeah, maintenance free. Maybe they got a pool included with those things. So you got to balance that out. It weighs it out. Let's do a rent versus own analysis right now. I want to make an offer to, and it may be not you. Maybe you're sitting pretty. We're talking to somebody maybe in your family. Maybe you've got a younger nephew or somebody that you're looking after. You're thinking about. Let's do this. Let's offer them a free rent versus own analysis. We can only do this for the first 5 listeners who call or text our hotline at 813-670-7372. Text the word rent in the amount of rent that you're paying to our consumer advocate hotline, 813-670-7372. And all you have to do is text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to that number, and we're going to make sure that we set you up with a rent versus own analysis. Now, we're going to have Scott Kepler and his team reach out to you. They're going to go over that data with you. They're going to go through what you're paying in rent, how much you could be saving and making and earning and building wealth by paying your own mortgage down. Rent versus own analysis, 813-670-7372. And if you're not a texter, if you're not in a position to text, go ahead and send an email through the website, consumerqb.com, and we'll be able to put you in touch there as well. So rent versus own analysis, change your life, leave a better legacy for your family, and we'll be right back after this short break right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
Technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Cool.
Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. This segment is brought to you by WholeBodyFuel.com, the official meal delivery service of the Consumer Quarterback Show, WholeBodyFuel.com. Chef prepared by Chef Brian Adamo and his team. Kevin and the whole team do a great job over there. Convenient, healthy, delivered meals directly to your home or office. Every week they're going to drop off these awesome meals. WholeBodyFuel.com. They've got the world famous protein donuts as well. And the food is excellent. I love carrying these meals with me to and from my commute to my appointments or wherever I might be at that day, radio station. And they help me eat healthy and convenient, healthy, organic meals delivered directly to your home or office. What else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? Check out WholeBodyFuel.com and let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And got a couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about. This property is a prime property over in East County, 5506 Dallas Way in Valrico, River Hills Country Club, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, $540,000. And the owner has built this property. He's a commercial contractor. So think about it. If you're a commercial contractor, you're building your own house. Are you taking many shortcuts? Probably not. So this one owner home is sure to impress. 3,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, pool home with a den, 4-car garage, sprayed insulation. You know, the sprayed insulation in the roof and the ceiling, that's a huge plus. It's going to keep your electric bills down. And you can store things up there as well. Beautiful property, 5506 Dallas Way in Valrico, owner motivated. We'd love for you to check it out at PlatinumMVPRealty.com, PlatinumMVPRealty.com. And we are back here in studio. We got Scott Kepler in the house. He's the branch manager, mortgage approval group, local lender, support your local economy here. Chris Hatfield, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, longtime friend of the program as well. Thanks for coming in. We're going to jump into our feel-good story of the day, and we're going to tell you something positive here.
Tell me something good.
So a Good Samaritan is paying for 70 hotel rooms for the homeless people who were camped out in tents in the freezing cold in downtown Chicago. The offer came after the fire department confiscated nearly 100 propane tanks given to the group to keep them warm as temperatures sank into the negative 22 degrees. The department was forced to act after one of the tanks exploded. When we got here, the fire was extinguished and they had all these propane cylinders. That's when we escalated to a level 1 hazmat, said Fire Chief Walter Schrader. There was a significant amount of propane there, and with that many cylinders, it's like a bomb going off. City officials notified Salvation Army spokesperson Jacqueline Revick, who began the preparations to move the people from one camp where they would be a warming center. And about an hour later, the city called again and said someone had offered to put the residents in a hotel for the rest of the week. Isn't that wonderful, says Rashev. At least they're warm and they're safe. Rashev was not sure to identify the Good Samaritan, but only knew that the hotel was on the city's south side. So that's pretty cool. Somebody stepping up.
That's the goal of, if you finally get to that, phase in life where you have everything you need, it's time to give back.
That's right.
And that's the object. That's my objective of wanting to become a millionaire. I'd like to be able to give back to the people that have done good things for me. So that's just an amazing thing to hear.
That's right, man. Yep. It's part of the universe there, giving back and, as you get in the karma and, helping people out with, with real estate deals, with mortgage deals, with screened and aluminum, beautiful patio lanais, helping people out. That's what we want to do. We want to change the world one listener at a time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we're jumping into our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
All right, top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Mr. Scott Kepler, you're up first, sir.
I think my parting words of wisdom would be stop throwing your money away on rent.
Mm-hmm.
You can get into a house for a lot less than what you think, probably. And if you're still living at home with mom and dad, chances are they probably give you a gift to get you to move out.
Yeah.
And you can use that for your down payment. So there's a lot of options out there. If you're not sure, give me a call. If you don't think you're quite ready, I can help you with putting together a plan to get you ready in the near future.
Yeah, good point, because it might not be a tomorrow thing, a next month thing. It might be a year plan, a 2-3 year plan. But either way, you're making those small incremental steps, and Scott can coach you on your credit as well. Things to do, things to avoid on the credit over those years, and get yourself up to that 680, that 720 score. And then when you go into it, you say, okay, here we go. Now we've saved up some money. We've got maybe a gift from a family member. Maybe you negotiate with the seller, or the realtor negotiates with the seller to bring in what they call seller concession. So that's money going toward your down payment and closing costs that you don't have to come out of pocket with. So yeah, rent versus own analysis. We offered that during the first part of the show, and I'm glad to see that some people have taken us up on that. That's awesome. All right, now we've got Chris Hatfield, Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
Chris Hatfield, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, 813-960-7064. Reach out to him on tampascreens.com. We've also been showing some pictures of our Renaissance patio. If you want to go to renaissancepatio.com, you can see some more information on there. Also, facebook.com/Tampa Screens. Just like what Scott was hinting on, we need to get the renters out of there, man. Get the renters, get them to get off that Humpty Dumpty phase, like we said, you know. Because if you're renting a house, you're not going to see me anytime soon. You're not going to have a screen enclosure. So as soon as you get into buying a house, that's when you're going to be adding that screen enclosure. So yeah. I did it 2 years ago. It was the best decision of my entire life. I'm so happy to be not part of that rat race where I'm always worrying about continuing rent to go up and you're shopping for apartments and houses at the exact same time every year. June, that's the hot time when they're pushing people in, getting them out. And at least now I own something. Every little headache that comes up, I do fix it, but I enjoy every bit of it. And now I get to put my brand new patio enclosure on the back of my house.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, so many people, that's a good point too. Every year the rents are going to keep increasing.
Never going to go down.
The landlords are pretty smart with the way they position themselves. Have you seen that as well, Scott, with rents?
Absolutely. I was actually just reading an article about it in preparing for the show. They went up 7% in the Tampa Bay area last year.
Wow.
The average rent.
And multiple years in a row now, it's like 7%, like you said, multiple digits a lot of times.
Right. 7% doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you figure it on $1,500, that's, a pretty good amount of money.
Yeah.
You're talking what, $105 extra every month.
Every year. Every month. Where's that coming from? Are you making that much more money every month? Did
somebody give you a 7% raise, last year? That's that same right. If you want to raise, that would be the best way, is to get out of the renting part of it and get into actually making it an investment for yourself. Because in no time, we're looking in 10 years' time to be able to take that house that we've made payments on and turn it right into an investment property and start charging that rent.
That's right. Let me flip the coin here. Now, what about investors? Are you working with investors too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I work with investors. We've got a really great program that has recently come out that basically allows investors to purchase an investment property with no income, really. So you don't have to have a bunch of disposable income, because we just look at what's the market rent for that particular property. And as long as it exceeds what the payment is, then that's all the income we look at.
It's more of the property itself paying.
Yeah, it's almost like a commercial loan where it's based on debt service ratio. And not to get into too much lingo, but it's pretty simple math. If the average rent is $1,500 and your in your mortgage payment, including the taxes and insurance and the association and whatnot, is $1,490, then you qualify.
Right.
Assuming there's some other qualifications involved as well. But I mean, that's it's a great way to start building a real estate portfolio.
Yeah.
As long as the bank pretty much sees that if you weren't in the picture, if you didn't exist, they could get their money. They could transfer that somehow, some way.
As long as the average rent for that particular area, and that's determined by an appraiser, exceeds the amount of the payment, then that's what we can use. We have traditional investment loan programs as well, and then we have hard money, private investors for people who want to buy a house and fix it and flip it. We call fix and flip loans, where it includes the some of the costs for the renovations, and we do renovation loans. Like I said earlier in the show, I've got a loan program for just about any situation. So if somebody has a question and wants to reach out and run their scenario by me, I'd be more than happy to talk with them. My advice is free, and if it looks like something I can help them with, then I'd love the opportunity to do so.
Yeah. What's your website, Scott?
It's mortgageapprovalgroup.com or scottkepler.com.
Mortgageapprovalgroup.com, scottkepler.com as well. And just the idea, the goal is to, avoid commission-based advice. The goal is to make your money go further, stretch further than you can. And that's why we set this show up as a consumer advocate-based program. Is that we've done that with all of our different expert contributors. We bring attorneys on the show, CPA, financial advisors, all types of home services, great companies that we work with. And they all take time out of their busy schedules to come on our show and appear and to give you their best consumer advocate advice. The content that we bring every day is all about helping you live a better life and making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Almost 6 years on air now, and we've really got some great people. So we want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business, your health, will, each one of those spokes extending out, representing another one of our preferred partners, our expert contributors that we bring on the show, just like Mr. Scott Kepler today and Chris Hatfield. Thanks so much for coming in. We really appreciate you guys coming in and supporting our listeners, supporting our show, our TV show as well on WeBeam TV. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing, hand it to that person that you see in need, and be a force for good in the community. Do something kind for one another. You know, go out there and donate some blood or volunteer some time. There's ways that you can get involved. And you know what? You're going to feel great when you do. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to invoke that rule of reciprocity in your life. So follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. We would love to connect with you. And of course, we'll see you at some of our local events as well here in Tampa Bay. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeave on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the Consumer Quarterback.